Good afternoon. It's Monday, the 29th of June. Not so hot today, I'm pleased to say.
Yeah.
Last week was just. But we're both here in our summery tops. I'm not sure how you see us, whether you see me on the left or the right or up below, wherever. And so we're here. David is kind of co-moderator quite often, if I let him get a word in edgeways. And the stalwart. I tried to say that with Beth, and I can never say it how it probably should be said. And of Self Pub Fest,
Mm.
David Week.
Okay.
And today we're talking about serials and standalones. And as
Yes.
we know, serials should be able to be read as standalones without knowing anything in advance, which is not necessarily very easy. And we both write standalones and series. So I'm going to hand over to David to tell us about your books and what you see.
Well, I'm going to slightly disagree with you because I think there
Okay.
are three different types. There are standalones,
Mm-hmm.
series, and what we call them serials.
Yeah.
Um, so I've done all three, I now realize, having thought about this panel beforehand. So I've got a standalone.
So this is all you were thinking about while you were on holiday last week.
All I was thinking about while I was on holiday. No, no. So that's a standalone. Rinko, set in Samurai Japan. It's a one-off book. Uh, Unlikely to have another one. It's not a series. Right. So that's a standalone book.
Okay.
Then you have a series, which is this one, which is my Dear and Do Club series. So starts with Empire of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and then just keeps going. And there are five in that series.
Okay.
But then you have a serial, which is a sort of self-contained story, but it's more than one book. So that
Okay.
would
Yes.
be these two.
Would Lord of the Rings fall into that, or would that be more of a serial?
Well, this is three books, and there's two out, and the third one's on its way.
Okay.
So that's a complete story, just happens to be in three books
Right.
with a nice little round thing there.
Right.
So I think that's the three types, isn't it?
Hmm.
Lord of the Rings, that was done as a single story.
Hmm.
J.R. Tolkien split it into six
Okay.
components, but the publisher then said, no, we'll do it in three. I
Right.
think that's how that happened.
Okay.
So that's a complete story in more than one book, a
Hmm.
serial. But then he wrote, didn't he? Before that, he wrote The Hobbit and the Silmarillion, and there's other stuff in that
Hmm.
universe. So is that a series? I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is because these two I call a series, I think. Good question. Good point raised because,
Yeah, I've suddenly realised that there's also a season. A
right,
friend of mine, a writer, was writing a series and realised that people would not jump onto the new book if they hadn't read the other six or seven or whatever it was.
right.
He started to do seasons, so you could jump on at season two of this series.
Ooh,
This is an American concept, comes from television, obviously.
yes.
So I've sort of done that with my Dear and Do Club, and I got the first three books,
Hmm.
and then by chance I realised that the second three books had death in the title.
Ah,
So there's the Death trilogy. Sounds awful,
yeah.
doesn't it, for an adventure story? Um, so you're subdividing a series that just it technically goes on and on, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Um, but he was very deliberate about it.
Right. Because I suppose when we I was going to say with seasons, it's like Friends. There were 10 seasons.
Yeah,
I suppose seasons is American thing, and we say series. Series.
yeah. We've changed our terminology. I think the American terminology is slightly better.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Because seasons here, we think of obviously the four seasons. The not the disco group, or the hotels, but the autumn, winter, fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, autumn.
So I've done all four we've now done, isn't it? Standalones, series, serials, and seasons.
Seasons. Mm. Well, the only I got it right earlier on before I hit record. This is a standalone, one for the road. That's the first novel in a series. But the subsequent ones are him going off on, or him or them, Henry the dog, stroke Henry and Gwyn, going off on various adventures. So they're spin-offs of the first one. So they do take place thereafter. So it's ideal.
Standalone series, serials, seasons, and spin-offs.
Spin-off.
They all begin with S, which is quite nice.
Yes, I know, isn't it weird?
Yeah.
And then the two up there, After Jessica and Hitman Sam, have nothing to do with anybody else. Although I liked Rick, so I quite like in After Jessica. He's Daniel's kind of do whatever you not right hand man. And I had real fun with him, so I might bring him back and do something. So that would be a spin-off. Do something with him. But they are standalones. They're standalone novellas. And then to the right, so these two are in theory a series, but Izzy is the main character in the first one. Donna is her best friend, so she features in it. And then in the second one, Donna is the main character, with Izzy appearing every now and then.
So you're pitching here for now a universe.
Yes, exactly.
A universe unrelated,
yes,
or slightly related in the same universe, which is a shame because that begins with U and not with S.
Saturn. Well, the first one is set all around Northampton, and it is mentioned, but the second one is then set in Tring and Hemel Hempstead. So it's the same set of some of the same characters, but we have new characters, and so it follows on a year later. I have started writing the third one, which then picks up where the second one left off. So they're not going to be a year, because that's another thing. If you're writing a series stroke serial, do you age your characters? Because Rebus, Ian Rankin had found he was aging Rebus, but then at the time he had to retire, so he brought him back as a consultant.
In a cold case, yes.
Mm.
And I think it's Frost, isn't it, where the character didn't age?
Wingfield, yeah. R.D.
I might be doing him a disservice there.
Possibly. Possibly he didn't. I'm not sure. I've seen the TV series, but
because there's one where the inspector is happily married, which is a bit of a rarity in crime fiction.
Yeah, anybody happy in crime fiction.
That was set in a town, and the town developed. So it's quite a small town, and it grew.
Okay. I'm not sure what that would be.
Because there are stories like The Simpsons, isn't it, on TV, where they're endlessly, Bart is 7 years old continuously for years and years and years. Yeah. Because you see, I've done a standalone that became a series.
Okay.
Which is interesting to do. And I dug out the first copy, which has got a price tag on it. That dates it. It's £8. It's a lot more now. So I wrote a book called Hashtag, literally using the hash symbol. I don't do that. It's a stupid idea. And it was a standalone. Right? It was a science fiction story about you've got a device in your forehead that effectively tweets all your thoughts continuously. So there's no privacy. Solving crimes is you just look up what people were thinking.
Yeah.
That person was thinking about murder. Right, it was him. So this is the main character is investigating those cases you can't solve in 20 seconds. And it was a standalone. I couldn't think how you would take that concept any further. And then I was having an MRI scan, bizarrely, and my brain was being pummeled. And I came up with a sequel idea, which turned out to be two ideas when I looked at it better.
That iPhone.
Yeah, so I republished them. So there's hashtag the first one.
Oh yes.
So that was the same book standalone effectively, and
Mm.
then two more to complete the series. So
Do
that's
you go? They're glossy covers, aren't they? Do you always
a
go for glossy?
that these are matte covers,
Oh, are they?
but by chance this is a glossy one.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
prefer
know
glossy.
why. Sorry,
I prefer glossy. I find the Amazon matte ones, my early ones were matte, and they mark so easily.
I prefer matte.
Do you?
It's not odd.
Right.
Oh, I like glossy for this one, which is iPhone. So it's glossy, so it looks like it's a
Ah,
phone.
yes, a
Uh,
phone screen.
but that's a standalone. I cannot see how that would become a series.
No.
But then I thought that of hashtags. So
Spin-offs. If
it's
you like, if you
spin-offs,
like,
yeah.
yes, because I like the idea, and I did get an email. Very rarely get emails. We love emails. Send us emails, nice emails, telling us about how much you liked your book or
Yeah.
particularly liked a character or so on. And somebody said, "What happens?" Was it that one, or it might have been Hitman Sam? What happens next? Yes, no, it was after Jessica. What happens next? And there isn't really a next. Um,
Mm.
she's gone, and that happens really early. And her brother lives happily ever after. No plot spoiler.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing really, but I like the idea of Rick because Rick was a really fun character. In one scene, he's gone into her house trying to find some money that's gone missing, and just to screw with her brother's head, Rick puts a paper. There's a dry sink, so rest assured, readers, it's a dry sink. He takes one of the books from a bookshelf and puts it open in the sink, and then goes. So, what's her brother's name? I should remember her brother's name. I wrote it a long time ago. Comes back in. Andy. No, Andy was driver. Anyway,
Someone.
comes
Yeah.
back. Yeah, Jessica's brother comes back in the house. Will come back in the house to this open book and freak out. Okay. So yeah, I
Yeah,
had a lot of fun. I
that's
had a
what
lot
it
of
is, isn't it? You like the characters, and you think, oh, what happens next? Or they could do this.
Yes.
And I think it's the same with fans. They fall in love with the characters, and then pester you at every convention to say when are you writing the next book?
Yeah, because they've read it in 4 hours, and it's taken us a year to write it and perfect it and
Yeah,
publish it and so on and so forth. If you could only write one format, do you have a preference as to whether you write a standalone or series? Is there one you've enjoyed more than anything else, do you think?
I suppose I would have to say standalones because I like writing lots of different things. And
Mm,
if I was locked into a series and could write nothing else but that,
mm.
I would
Yeah,
find that limiting.
yeah.
But the Dear and Do Club, I enjoy being in their universe.
Mm.
Um, well, that's hard. That's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose the
Uh,
two, I would go with standalones because I hadn't planned on writing any series. For me, because I started off as a short story writer, so you write a whole story, you move on to the next one. So I think I started off with standalones. It was only really because I could the serial series, serial data, serial dieter. I'm not a marketeer, but because I'd set the first one around Northampton, I saw it as a marketing opportunity. So when I'm doing anything in the Northampton area, they would that would appeal to people in Northampton. And I specifically set, therefore, the second one somewhere else. And the idea was I was going to write each book in a different county. So the next one would be Bedfordshire with a friend,
right.
Alison
Yeah.
Morgan.
So
Uh,
you're
so
it's set in your local area wherever you happen to live.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So however many counties there are, 50 something, 60 something.
I started off doing standalones, iPhone, and then Reninco standalone books.
Mm,
Then the Dear and Do Club, I conceived as a series straight off. Thought
mm,
this is a flexible enough concept. You can do different things in it.
mm.
Didn't follow the pattern I originally planned though.
as they don't.
No, I had these three sisters. It was going to be an ensemble piece, and the ensemble was going to change every book.
Okay.
But no, the three sisters wouldn't let anybody else in their club, so that was
Right.
that.
Oh, how funny.
um,
How funny. How much do you plot? I know we talked about plotting and pantsing. How much do you plot? Because we are both avid spreadsheet nerds, and
yeah, I'm a puzzler in that I write random things and then try to puzzle them together. Uh,
right.
I recommend if people are writing to be a plotter. That seems to be a lot easier to do.
Mm,
I don't have the patience, sadly.
right. Yeah, I say even if you've just got a page or two of notes, that helps because the early things I just got an idea and ran with it, and
Yeah.
I would get to a certain point, and yes, writer's block does exist. Get to a certain point and think, okay, I don't know what happens next. And if I'm lucky, I'd get to A to M or A to F, and then think, well, I know what P to R it is, so then write that bit, and you just the more you bits you write, the more you fill in the gaps, and it's more to go through when you go, I just write more here. So then when
Yes.
I got to the end, I search for more here and I can see what's missing.
Now, do you plan a series um, so that if you're writing book one in the series, have you got an idea for book four?
Um, for for the Henry series, I had a subscription with Adobe, whatever their picture area is of Adobe is called, and
Photoshop.
I found this character. Um, Henry, where there's the little dog at the
Oh
bottom,
yes, yeah.
little dog, and I've got him in. I'd have to go to my files and check, but probably they were by the same artist. There were probably about 40 of this dog in different things. One, for instance, with us drinking from a straw, drinking some sangria. Another one of him with a cowboy western hat on.
Right.
And so I can write as many stories as I've got pictures. So that actually thought, oh, let's write a story about. There's one with him and popcorn. So the next one to come out will be Henry Goes to the Cinema, The Case of the Rogue Llama. And that came back from my editor in November 2023. And
Right.
it's about 16,000 words and it's sitting there waiting for me to go back through. So I have no excuse. I couldn't
No, no, that's
16,000
people
words.
take a long time to do their books.
Exactly. So they all look quite similar with this front, but the dog is doing different things. So at the moment, the other ones there are 5 out on Kindle, so 4 others at the moment. And then one of my tasks for August is to convert them, get Henry Goes to the Cinema up and running. And this Trick and Treat was another one that came out a couple of Octobers ago, Septembers ago, and is to compile them into a paperback with
Mm,
the smaller ones in several. But I think that the advantage for me for a serial is that I know the world already. I know the characters, how they think, and I have a Word document with all their what they look like and how tall they are and so on. So I make sure things are consistent.
right.
Obviously, with a standalone, you don't have that. You don't have to remember, and I have a hopeless memory, so you don't have to remember once you've written it and checked that everything is consistent. You can just move on and create
Yeah.
a new set of people.
I
Whereas in
mean,
a series,
one of my fans produced a spreadsheet for my series,
really,
series, and I have actually referred to it to
wow,
remind myself about things.
yeah.
I spotted a mistake in it, which is quite
Did
good.
you?
But yeah,
You didn't let them know. You're too polite.
I did. I didn't tell him what the mistake was.
Okay.
This is interesting. But yeah, if you're doing a series, you need to make notes and then sort your notes out. That's the thing I don't do: sort my notes out.
Right.
So my notes file for the series is enormous.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I just have, if I'm editing for a client, so that's my day job. I'll have the manuscript, and then a notes document and a names table. So, and it's just it looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but it's in Word. And then all the names go in. So John Smith would go in J and S, and then all the places on the right hand side. And then whenever I get, so I have the timeline, it's a little paragraph, and I do this for me as well, a little paragraph for each chapter. And so I can always refer to when something happened. So that's the timeline. And then if two characters meet for coffee every Tuesday morning, I put that in other timings. And then, for instance, if they meet on a Thursday morning, I say, well, aren't they supposed to meet on a Tuesday morning? And then the characters. So every time we learn something new about a character, it goes on. So they have their own paragraph for them and how old they are.
It's hard, isn't it, to know what fact will be important and what fact won't be.
Well, I think some characters, because Lee Child is deceptively vague about Jack Reacher, but we know he's really tall because of what the things he does, and he's intimidating because he's, you know, Alan Richson. And so I think there's a balance between saying too much and not saying enough. I've been told with this one, I don't normally look at the reviews, but I went on there for something. I think Beth BB Elson had left a review for it, so I went on and had a look. Really lovely review, and spotted a 1-star review. I don't know if it was that one or another one that called it dull, and I think it was a man who'd read all the way. It's women's fiction, but this chap had read all the way through it. So kudos to him for going through it. And he said, we never do learn what she looks like. She is on the front cover. Kind of think, really? And in several scenes, she's taller. She's 5'10". So in several scenes, she's taller than the person she's meeting.
But I think that's a matter of taste.
It is.
Some people like things described in great detail, and other people like it vague so they can project themselves into the character.
Exactly. Tell them too much and they don't use their imagination. That's the whole point.
It's part of your voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a right or wrong on that.
No.
And he's of course right, because it's his subjective opinion. If he prefers more description, well, read somebody else's book, I suppose.
Yeah, I've been told I don't, so I'm conscious now. But the trouble is that book, those two are over 100,000 words each anyway, and they're in fairly small print. And so when I go to WIs, they quite often look. And I'm writing a new series of 60 books, a new universe set in a village near me, but I call it something else. And so it's based in.
So you're doing the planning for 60 books.
I am.
So you really got to tie down what you're doing, because you could seriously, the wheel could come off in book 23 or something.
Absolutely. But the thing is, each book is going to have a different character as the main character. So as long as I'm consistent with the village and where you turn left to go to the church or whatever, make sure that that's consistent. I may have a map in the beginning. And then I've come up with this crazy idea, because I love short stories, of one of the chapters in each book is a self-contained short story, and there will be a collection of 60 short stories.
Right.
So my idea was to write the 60 stories first, so then it gives me a glimpse into each character, and have one of the novels ready by my next WI, which was the 9th of July, which is this Thursday. So that isn't going to happen.
Oh, right.
If I could, yes. But if I could get it done by September, I think my next one's about the 19th of September, something like that. If I could get the short story collection ready, because WI, they love One for the Road tends to be my bestseller, because they like dark stuff, they like crime, but they equally, unless they're buying a book for somebody else, they like the characters to be their kind of age, and really everybody's everybody's too young in my books. So that's probably why that one sells better. And then they buy. So all these 60 books, the main characters are 60 and over. So there's a theme running
Right.
there. So
My bestseller is a series, which is
is it?
interesting, isn't it? And the three characters are quite young. They start off 15, 18, and 21, I think.
Okay,
And they have been aging.
right.
Um,
See, the thing about aging is that then that appeals to different. So you'll appeal to the teenagers, you'll appeal to the 20s when they get to the, depends how quickly
yeah.
they age, I suppose. Yeah, if they do age, you get more of a
Well,
wide
I
audience.
wasn't planning to do that, but I came up with a plot idea as to why one of the characters would be 21. So she
Right.
has a birthday. As soon as you have a birthday, well, you're moving forward, aren't you?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how do you plan your series? You said about notes. What are they in? Are they in an Excel spreadsheet? In a
I've got
Word
a
document?
Word document
Hmm.
and an Excel spreadsheet that the fan did for me,
Right.
Gary. Um,
Hi, Gary.
but haven't done that much planning with it. I seeded ideas. I thought, here's a good idea. And I seeded it in the first book,
Hmm.
didn't use it in the second book. I think I used it in the third book.
Okay.
Um, so there's little nuggets planted, ready to seed.
Yeah.
Ugly, that's a mixed metaphor. There's little seeds put in that will grow later.
Yeah.
That's a better metaphor.
Do you
Um,
have any idea? You mentioned one's a 3 book series. You got another 5 book series, or is that is
the Deer and Do Club is a 5, soon to be 6 book series,
okay?
and I've written some trilogies that they've turned out to be.
Okay.
So The Daughters of Igraine is a trilogy. It was conceived as one story.
Mm,
So that's different between a series and a serial.
yes.
And the Dragon Sword trilogy is 3 books.
Right.
Both of those trilogies, I wrote the whole lot as a first draft before
Wow.
I published the first one.
Yeah. And you write quickly, don't you? Because you're really good at. I think you're writing. You write until. Do you write until 12 like me, or do you? Because I know you're usually writing in the morning.
Um, well,
You
the
carry on
New
going.
Street Authors, the group we both belong to,
Mm,
started these Zoom writes at 2 o'clock. So I started to write from 2 till 4,
okay.
even when we weren't Zooming together.
Yeah.
So that became my pattern.
Right.
I think my pattern is just to intensively write whenever I can.
Or you can. Yeah. No. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you do you, have you got series you think actually I'm going to just carry on going, and they could be endless?
Well, the Do and Do Club could be.
Mm,
There's no reason
mm,
why that can't just keep going. It's like it's like Indiana Jones. It's that sort of adventure serial. So
mm,
as long as you can think of some other place for them to go to with
yeah.
some problem and adventure, it could keep going forever. Uh,
Mm,
and I've even got vaguely planned, I suppose, a spin-off. One of them has a daughter who goes off and has adventures.
nice.
Um, but because I fixed it in time, they were set in Victorian times, but one of the stories kind of demanded a date,
Okay.
so it became fixed in time. So not only are the characters getting older, the
Mm,
book series is going through time. So Queen Victoria, in one of the books, she dies,
1901.
1901.
Hmm.
So it's a specific date in the book when that happens because
Mm,
it affects the story.
right.
So now it's an Edwardian series. um,
Well, that'd be fun though if you love history and
yeah.
readers love history to have it in different eras, and especially if you're involving real events and
Yeah.
real monarchy.
Well, having done that because of plot reasons, I
Mm,
then had to mentally go back through the previous books and work out exactly what date these things took place.
right.
So
And create a nerdy Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah, an early Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah,
And give everybody birthdays and this happened on that date and so on.
yeah. I do the same in Word. If there are any dates that come in, I have a table, and it just has the years, like 1950 down to present, if it's set in present day. And then say if there's a main character and certain events happen at certain ages, then I'll have the main character at the beginning, and then track down, so born, and then one down to current age, and then for the main characters. And
So you
then,
do that in Word.
yeah,
I've done it. I done it
the word
Excel for exactly that reason, in that I
right.
can stick a date in, and it will
Yeah.
then tell me how old the three sisters are.
Yeah, for me, I do it in Excel because obviously you can do formulas. You could probably do
No,
formulas in Word.
I thought you said you did it in Word.
I do it in Word when I'm doing client books because they have
Oh,
everything back in Word.
right, right.
So for clients, I do it in Word. But for me, certainly for this 60 book Excel spreadsheet,
Yeah.
I have the names table, and because I'd run out of page.
So really, what we're talking about is if you're doing a standalone, you could kind of do it in a sprint. No, the sprint's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
um, and it hold everything in your head.
Mm,
The longer a series goes on, the more note taking is required just to make sure you're consistent.
absolutely.
And if you forget to do the notes, as indeed I did,
Yeah.
it
Right.
then becomes quite an effort to go through it all and work out what has
Yes.
happened.
Yes. Well, when I was at Capital Crime in London last weekend, and on the train, not really between sessions because I was out and about networking, but during the sessions, I could listen with one ear and then write, and I carried on writing because I'd come up with an idea on the Thursday evening, so it was Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and I'd come up with an idea on Thursday afternoon. And by the time the weekend was that 2.5 days was finished, I'd come out with just over 9,000 written down, 9,000 words. And then I spent the Sunday typing it up and doing these little paragraphs of what happens and all the notes and things. And it's much easier. I'm more of a sit at the computer and write much quicker. And then it's easier to do the notes, as you say, as you go along, rather than backtrack.
I mean, I wrote a computer program for myself to take notes as I went along.
Mm.
I could refer to things. So if I have a description of a character, I'll copy that paragraph into this program.
Right.
So that in Word, I can hover over a person's name,
Yeah.
hit a single key, and it'll
Yeah.
pop up and tell me they've got brown hair.
Are those macros? No.
No, it's
Okay.
not a macro.
We used to use macros back in the day, but I don't do it.
I use a lot of macros as well, but this is
Right.
a program that looks at Word.
Okay.
So when you hit the hotkey, it's called,
Yeah.
it'll pass to the program the word you were on,
Right.
and it will then look that up and give you the information,
And do
which is
you?
very powerful and very good if I remember to put the information in.
Yeah. Yes. And do you use a PC or a Mac?
A PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get away from Microsoft and Windows.
Right.
So I'm thinking of going to Linux. I've got Linux on a data stick
Okay.
ready to go, as it were.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it because there's things like my program will no longer work. I'd have to remove that
Yes.
Linux, and that might be tricky.
Right.
So I feel I might be trapped in Windows simply because there's bits of software I now need
Mm.
to write.
Right. Pain. Well, I bought my first MacBook laptop in 2011 and have been Mac ever since. Haven't used a
Yeah.
PC in years, other than the start button. But I use Word for Windows, the Office package on a
Right.
Mac, and so I have the same frustrations with with Microsoft.
Yeah. Although less so now, because I'm still on Windows 10, because I didn't want to go to Windows 11 because you end up with a subscription model, and I paid for Word. I bought it outright.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start paying them again. That's not right.
No, I'm hanging on to mine
Yeah.
for as long as I can.
I mean, it works. The real problem is they keep fiddling with it and things stop working.
Ugh.
So I've stopped updating. So things will
Yeah.
just stay the same, and that's fine if I could keep that going.
Yeah, I have a banner at the top. It says Office update. Your operating system needs to be updated to receive Office for Mac updates, which I'm resisting. I don't mind updating the iMac, but I'm not updating Word.
Yeah, because
You never know what you're going to lose, and I need it.
they will fiddle with things, and then you're spending hours and hours trying to find
Yes.
where the
Yeah, well,
options are.
Tim works, I think he's on Linux actually downstairs, and he has Outlook. And I heard him on the phone today to somebody saying the old version would do this, and now the new version doesn't do it, and it's yes, the old version you would make a change and it would do it instantly, whereas this one you do it and it doesn't, and you have to
They've changed comments, the way comments work,
right.
which drove me up the wall.
Yeah, definitely need
Finally
to stick
solved it.
with this version then.
Yeah, because I used to have a macro to do comments. So if I want to plug a comment in, I just hit a key, bang, there it is.
Right.
And then they updated. So yes, it will put a comment in, but it'll bring up a sub window at the bottom, so you're losing screen space. Right. So the cursor would be in there, not in the bubble. Ugh. And I discovered how to do old comments or something.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a bit like WordPress. So my website and self-pubfest, selfpubfest.co.uk, they're both WordPress behind the scenes. And there's the classic editor or the block editor. And I hate the block editor. Oh. So I always go for classic editor. I don't see the point.
I'm always swearing at the thing.
It won't do what you want to do. 10 more steps to do what you just... Oh.
It's enshittification is the word.
Cory
Doctorow coined this term, enshittification, where you've got something that works perfectly well,
yes,
so it stops working properly, and it's like 3 or 4 more extra clicks to get the comments to go back to where they were and things like that. Oh,
I've noticed between the last version and this version, I can't remember how old this one is, 2019, I think. So 2015 to 2019, you could just, when you were writing in a comment, and I have generally, I very rarely come across something in a book. It'd be interesting to go through yours actually, see if I come up with something different that I haven't seen before. And so I have a checklist of about 60 pages. So I just go to the relevant comment and then copy and paste that into a...
Oh, you do? Yes, yes.
Yeah, copy and paste it into a comment bubble. So that's pretty quick. And it used to be where if you type it in or copy and paste it in and press enter on the keyboard, it would then secure it. But now you have to press command and enter or click on a right arrow.
There's an example of enshittification.
Yeah.
Exactly. When I had this really big argument with Word, when it was changed, it was so frustrating. And it makes you cross. I was editing somebody's book, and I had to point out to him, look, I've had this problem with Word. I got very angry with Word. It might have leaked across into my comments about your book.
Right.
For which I apologise.
Right.
He was fine.
One thing I've noticed, and I think it's only on this, pointing to this computer, because this is supposed to be my Word only. Well, that has all sorts of other things open. And it, for some reason, and there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it, it will replace words or part of words with a capital I. So then when I do a spell check before I send a book back, it will come up with this word that doesn't mean anything because now it's got a capital I in the middle of it, which is fine if it's changed it to a word that doesn't make sense. But if it's changed it to a word that does make sense, or it's changed the whole word and just put I, which it won't kick out in a spell check.
And of course, capital I on its own is a word, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So then if I see it, I then do scan through. But if you're scanning through, I don't know, 300 pages, So then I put in a comment, for some reason, Word has decided to change things. It's not
You
me.
could do a
If you
search.
see it,
Yeah, you could do a search for capital I, couldn't you?
yeah, I can. And then it will obviously pick up all the dialogue
Yeah.
that I could, because I don't know whether it's going to be a single word or within
I
a
I
sentence.
I
So,
put K's into words by mistake.
oh, do you?
My fingers naturally rest on the keys.
Yes.
For some reason, this finger is slightly too heavy or something, and
How
I'll
funny.
press K and not realize it.
How funny.
Yeah.
How funny.
And
So you work on quite a few, but you don't, because there are some people I was chatting to. I think Beth the other day. She'll go from if she gets stuck or she's had enough of the current book,
yeah.
she'll go. She writes short stories and poetry as well, so she'll have those. So she'll have those two projects on a go. But there are some people who say, "Oh no, I can only work on one book at once. I can't have my head filled with another book." But
Um,
you have because I know you've got is it 4 or 5 books
and five on the
coming
go.
out?
So
Do you?
stupid. It's dumb. There've been lots of little reasons why I've ended up in this stupid place, but
Right.
I'm working on 5 books at the same time.
Yeah. And
Um,
they're a mix, are they, of standalones and series?
oh, yes, that's a good question. I've got my piece of paper here. Uh, Middle of a trilogy, book 2 of a standalone that's now become a series.
Okay.
Book 6 of a series. Book 3 of a trilogy. Book 3 of a trilogy.
Okay.
But it's daft.
Right.
I'm not allowed to write anything new until I've got some of these out.
Okay.
Um, I mean, literally, this is my vast things to do list.
Yeah.
Right at the end, it
Is
says,
it
you
you're
may
not
now
allowed
start a new book.
you're not allowed by yourself, or Dawn's told you you're not allowed to
No, by myself.
by
Because
yourself?
I realised I was spread too thin. So I would come back to a book
Mm,
and go, where on earth was I up to with this?
yeah.
Is this first draft? Is this a rewrite? Should I send it out to the editor? Where am I up to?
Yeah.
And I just got in a bit of a pickle.
And are they different enough that you don't get the worlds mixed, or you know the world so much that you don't get them? There's no
Um,
chance of getting them muddled.
don't, but I have noticed there was one element of one of the books that leaked into the other fantasy book.
Okay.
So the serious fantasy book has a moment where the 7 people go off on a quest, if you like. That cliche. The
Right.
other trilogy is a comic fantasy trilogy that makes fun of that trope. So I'm actually making fun of myself.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Uh,
I fancied because I live near Beaconsfield, and apparently Terry Pratchett lived around here. And there's Sear Green, 40 Green, and little villages that I think I could have fun with. I don't know if they were based on those, but I could. Yes, as I drove through there a little while ago, I could just imagine this sort of Terry Pratchett-esque world that I could create. But I think I need to read him. Tim's read him. I have quite a few of his on audiobook. So that's a project for another year.
that reading Terry Pratchett books. Yeah. You see, I banned myself from reading Terry Pratchett books because
Right.
when we were doing the trilogy, James and I, someone said, "Oh, what you're doing sounds awfully like Terry Pratchett."
Uh,
Gave us a book, and I flicked into it a little bit about death in the Terry Pratchett book, and I thought, "Oh, that's a good character to put it on."
uh,
Oh, no, I cannot read that at all. I must put that
no,
away.
no, that's another
Yeah.
thing. Some people will read their genre to get a flavour for their genre. See, I could do that because I don't have a good enough memory. And if I like a particular phrase, I'll write it down or dictate it into my phone and said where I got it from. So I don't think it's something I've created.
God,
And other
that's
people will read something completely different because they don't want to be influenced by their own, their peers, by their own genre.
that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because you really need to know about your genre to be able to write in it. So you're not
Mm,
doing something that someone's done before.
mm,
Um, but then you can be too influenced, can't you? I mean, back in the day, you could read, if you were a science fiction writer, which I would define myself as, you could read all the science fiction that came out in that year. But then, obviously, more and more books were published, and became impossible.
Yeah.
So you can no longer be fully informed about your genre. Simply, there's not enough hours in the day to read them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because there was a bit of a dialogue between books. Someone would write a book, and there will be a reaction to it in somebody else's book, and so forth. But I suppose that still exists. But because you've not read the first book, you don't know what the second book is referring to.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I go to festivals like Capital Crime, where all the latest, or maybe the one before the latest, books are being talked about on the stage. They have 3 or 4 authors with their books and discuss it, and the chances of me having read even one of those books, and every time I go away being more inspired to write, but also thinking I should be reading these books. But I have such a bad memory that I think, well, while I'm reading their books, the same thing, I'd have to read, if I know I'm going to a festival where they've got 50 authors, I'd have to then read all 50 books. And while I'm not reading their books, while I'm reading their books, I'm not writing my own.
Yeah.
And it's very much time management. I'm now more focused
on. You do
on.
need to read in order to be able to write.
Yeah.
So it's a question of balance, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm lucky because it's my day job. But equally, I'm unlucky because whenever I read somebody else's book for pleasure, I'm sitting there pulling it apart. We went to Spain for a few weeks ago, and I took some, I think, 2 short story collections and about 5 novellas, and one I didn't read because I just couldn't get into it, and it's the, what do they call it? Something NF WNF, will not finish. And so I only got partway through, and it was a bit too close to home. It was about a woman and her relationship with her mother, and I didn't have an easy relationship with my mother, and so I just decided through, and now we can choose what we want to read. A bit annoying if you've spent lots of money on it, but I think I got given it for the book swaps. But I read short stories for pleasure.
Right, because I've just been on holiday to the Isles of Scilly. It's very, very pleasant. Missed the heat wave here, fantastic. But I took a proof copy of my book with me.
Yes.
So
with the logo you can't see.
With the logo with it, yeah. This wretched banner is right across the important element on the cover. I can't see whether. Anyway, there I was scribbling away, and I wrote down in the books where I was when I started to do this particular chapter.
Okay.
It's become an odd souvenir of the holiday. So there we go. I started this particular chapter on Monday, and I was in Hewtown.
Okay.
And then the next chapter, I was looking at a lighthouse. So it's become a very odd souvenir. But, I was scribbling in it in red pen. But I was also reading for pleasure somebody else's novel, which I borrowed. And at one terrifying moment, I reached for my red pen when I spotted something to change.
But we do, don't we? We spot things in other people, because you're an editor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spot things. And the last book, I didn't manage that, but the last kind of proper, traditionally published book I started was nearly 9 years ago, when I was I was there for my 50th birthday, so it was nearly 9 years ago, in Germany visiting friends, and it was a Henning Mankell, and my German friend loves books normally by British authors in the native English, and but this was a translation, and I think I got to about page 27, and there was something just so awful in it that I put it on Facebook and had a mini explosion. All these people, because most of my friends are writers or readers or both, and they say, how did that get published? And so I blame, in a way, the translation, because I don't know whether it was written badly in the first place, and that's as far as I got. So page 27. because I just couldn't get any further. And that's the trouble, because it's my job and a pleasure to pull things apart. I read short stories because then it's almost like I've given my brain permission to turn off, because it's not long enough to get annoying. But yeah, we can always find things.
I mean, this wasn't a mistake I spotted. Now I think about it, it was a weakening word.
Right.
I think it was very.
Oh yes.
He was very big or something. He was very tall.
Yes.
And I thought, you don't need that word. Where's my red pen?
Yeah. Yeah, I say one of my copy and pastes from my checklist is, I can't remember the exact wording, but now all very and just are things that are often words that can come out.
Yeah.
When we know there are 4 people in a scene, they were all excited. That's not a good example, but you can take out they were.
I put all in a lot.
Do you?
Yeah. To take it out.
You do need, yeah. I mean, when there's any doubt as to who you mean, then if there are 4 people, the chances are that they could be two, 3, or 4 of them.
I used to put now in too much.
Yes, that's one thing.
They were now in the room.
Yeah.
They were in the room. That's fine. You don't need it.
Yeah.
I think all writers develop little ticks.
Yes. Well, now is also another thing when you're writing past tense, because technically it's not now.
No.
And like today, yesterday, it's not today is that day. Yesterday is the previous day or the day before, and so on.
Yeah. I mean, well, part of it's the charm of our voice, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, the book I'm editing at the moment is set in Ireland, and I'm very conscious. And most of the stuff I do is tweaks and suggestions, and I'm very cautious, very conscious not to change the Irish voice. But I say that there was one thing on page 1 that I said, "Oh, this may be an Irishism, but non-Irish readers might think it's a typo." So there are certain things that she would need to change because the chances are most of her readers won't be Irish.
What do you do if you're putting something in that's correct but looks like a mistake?
It's tricky.
One fan pointed out I'd used, he said this as a Parthian shot. And he said that should be
parting.
Parting shot, not Parthian shot. Now, Parthian shot is correct.
Yes.
And so is parting shot, for that matter.
Yeah, but different meanings.
But if you don't know if you haven't had a classical education, you might not know it.
No.
Do you change that?
Yeah, see, I say I edit for the reader, because 99 readers might have thought it, which is not the right way round, really, that you want it. 99 readers might think it's parting, but there'll be the one reader who knows that you're correct, which is not ideal. Usually it's the one person knows that something's wrong.
This argument we've had about what vocabulary you should use. Should you use complex words? Well, yes, you should, because if you use the very simplest words, how is somebody going to be educated in words will disappear if we don't use them. So if you replace Parthian shot with parting shot every single time, Parthian shot will disappear.
Yeah.
And that would be a shame.
Yes. But there are ways to come around that. Have a character say that, and then have another character say, well, don't you mean a what? And then explain it, but not obviously if that doesn't work for your book. But absolutely, comes down to the 4 E's again. Everybody should be educated, but not to the point where they need a dictionary by the side of the.
No, I mean, I don't think in this particular example you needed a dictionary. I think it was obvious from the context.
Yeah.
What it meant.
Yes. But if you learn nothing from a book, then. I mean, if
you follow it to its logical extreme, every book will be see spot runs. You won't have any writing. We're well
Oh
off topic.
yes. So I think the in conclusion, we both love writing. We both. That's another word that can come out often. If you know there are only two people, I see a lot of boths. They both when there are only two people in the scene.
We both all now know what we're doing.
Very.
Very, yes, very.
Yeah. So yes, we for different reasons we love writing standalones. I love starting something completely new. That's another word. You fill a word immediately, suddenly, completely get
Yeah,
rid of them.
abruptly.
Yes. Oh, the adverbs. Yes. He walked slowly. Have him plod, have him shuffle. More
But pretty much every adverb is telling you to change the verb to something
exactly.
else, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the definition. Did you not know that's the definition of adverb? To change, yes, change the dull verb into something more interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Anyway,
we've what's it, standalones,
yes, I've written them down.
series, serials,
Yes,
seasons,
yes.
settings.
Oh, set.
This one. Settings is all in the same universe. I come up with a word that begins with
Oh,
S.
okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, yes. Okay,
And,
great.
and spin-offs.
Spin-offs. Yeah, I was waiting for you to. Yes, they're the six. I've written them down. Very
I
good.
feel like I've learnt something. I don't know
Good.
how
Me
useful it
too.
is, but
Me too.
yeah,
A Parthian shot.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, that's my parting shot.
Yes. Anyway, we may have gone over. We were talking. I think it was before we were recording about the length allowed on on TikTok for a video is an hour. So we just started a little bit late. So hopefully we may have snuck in under the hour. Anyway, always a pleasure.
You
So
should
I'll
you
see.
should cut it just there.
Absolutely.
We're
Yes.
supposed to stay under an hour and then just chop,
Yes.
guys.
Absolutely. So it's our this coming Sunday. I don't know if when you're seeing this, viewer, but this coming Sunday we've got an all-day festival, the online version of our October, which is has
Hey, the
loads
5th
of
of
fun.
July.
Sunday the 5th of July. Absolutely. So we shall both be here. I'll be if David wants to take it over any, I should be lurking in the background. Uh, with a drink firmly by my mouth so I don't go, oh, fine, yes. But yes, we'll both be here in some capacity
Yeah.
at some point. I'll be here all day. David may come in and out, but always a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
have. I've yet to plan my week,
That's all right.
and all sorts of things I put off till after my holiday.
Well,
Um,
you've got a book coming up.
yes,
You got well one of five coming up. So busy, busy.
busy, busy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. No,
I'll
thank you.
see.
Nice to chat.
Yes,
And we did stay on topic some of the time.
kind of. I like going off. Yes, we're learning things. Going off topics. We're learning things. I like it. Thank you.